they're sad and they're lonely and they're depressed. And then their client comes in and they're just sitting there like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, and they're just like, "Hi, how you doing?" Blake the Cake.
Yep.
Top line 7-on-7 football coach here at the Old Top Shop. Today, we are going to be talking about customer service do's and don'ts. Britt's looking at me because I messed up the words a little bit there. This is Top Line's business show. We are going to be taking you through all things that entrepreneurs and small business owners should know based on my experience and then some of the other guests that we'll have here with us on the show, on the set. Today, again, our main focus is going to be 3 customer service do's and don'ts, and I have a few extras for you as well. I got Blake with me today, and he'll be able to chime in because this is his first year in business, getting to know the ins and outs of different things.
Yep.
My credibility is I have been an entrepreneur, and I haven't worked for anybody since I was, I think, 18. I think technically I still work at Hollister at Mayfair Mall. I'm probably still employed there, and Taco Bell. I didn't think that I officially quit there when I was 16. So I haven't worked for anybody since then. I've been making things kind of happen out of thin air for the last decade, and you're going to be able to see some of the things that we do here at Top Line that have made us a success for 10 years and be able to stay sustainable, scale and grow, and be able to add cool people on the staff like Britt, who's behind the camera. She's not mic'd up today. You can still chime in. We can still hear you. Say what's up, Britt.
What's up?
There we go. All right, so today we're going to be breaking down 3 customer service do's and don'ts. Very important topic, wouldn't you say? Customer service?
Extremely important.
Yeah.
I mean,
what would you say? What would you say is an important thing to remember when you're trying to serve a customer, just based off of your experience this year, before we jump into the real stuff?
Well, the one thing that I think I really learned this year was building the relationship. So building a relationship with either the player or the customer, whoever it might be. I think that really goes a really long way.
Makes things easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think you can expect to sell something or give something to someone without really getting to know what they want or kind of what their personality's like.
So you're basically saying you kind of had to lose yourself and think about the other person.
Right.
Right? Yeah, that's major, guys. If you're out there and you're trying to start a business, if you're trying to serve anybody right now, especially in 2019 with all the social media platforms and different things, a lot of people get so cooped up into what they like, what they want to talk about, and they forget about their audience. They forget about their customer and their client. Right. So I think that's a huge thing, actually. Yeah. Anything else? What other things?
The listening. I mean, you got to be able to listen what your customer or whoever it might be, what their needs are, and then kind of figure out what you can do to offer what you have to offer.
Absolutely. You're going to be hearing a lot about customer service from everybody here at the Top Shop because that's what we feel like we do best. When we don't do it, things don't go well. When we do it, things go incredible. And I think that goes for any business. Now, you'd still want to remember that customer acquisition is senior to customer service, because if you don't focus on customer acquisition, who the hell are you going to serve? You're going to be sitting by yourself, and you're not going to have anybody to serve well, right? So you got to go get customers, but once you do get them, it's your job to offer them some unbelievable, crazy, exponential experience,
gotta go above
and then relationship that you can grow off of. So the 3 things that I wanted to touch on today. Number 1, customer service do.
What do you got?
Be early, okay? You don't want especially if you're in a service business, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in a service business where you're meeting clients, you don't want to show up late, do you? Now, You've got a little story about this. I'll let you kind of touch on, just starting off, right? And there ain't nothing wrong with it because we've all been there, including me back in the day, maybe once or twice. Maybe. I don't know. If you're a client, I've been late to a session, reach out and let me know. Comment. Okay, so here, what do we got, Blake?
Yeah, I guess, starting the football side of things, as a student athlete, you're expected to show up to meetings early, to show up to practice early. Or even show up to work early. So that's always been engraved in me to show up early.
Yeah.
Now, when you have some other responsibilities and you're driving a little farther distance.
That sounded like he was sliding an excuse in there, other responsibilities. Right?
But,
if you commit to being somewhere, if you commit to a client, an appointment, a practice, if you're a coach, and this, again, these are business principles, but these are life principles as well, right?
Right.
It's kind of the responsibility factor.
Yeah.
So, go on.
So, there was a few times early in the football season where that 30 to 15 minutes early, or even earlier than that, I was either right there when the customer got there or a few minutes late.
I actually had to run a practice one time.
You did?
I did. I ran a football practice. I actually played quarterback a little bit. I stepped in. Now, we're not like going to rag on Blake, but what we're saying is because we've all been there, right? Everyone's been there. If you want to really show somebody that you're offering really high value service, you're going to be there early because you need to be prepared, right? It's really hard to show up on time or late, especially, and still be prepared.
Yeah.
Because if you have to set something up, if you're a hairstylist, right, like our sponsor, Ellen Co. Styling Salon in Thiensville, Wisconsin, you got to show up and have all of your tools ready. You got to have all of your hair potions mixed. I don't know if they're called potions, formulas, whatever they are. You're going to have that stuff and all those different things mixed up. If you're a trainer, you're going to have the workout set up for the day. You're going to have to be prepared, and people can smell it. They can sense it. They can feel it. When you come in and you're frazzled, I think we've all had the football coach that came in and all of a sudden you're just doing this workout, or all of a sudden you're just running this drill and you're like, this dude, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it gives off a definite impression on people that you weren't prepared, okay? So make sure that you're not just on time, but you're about 20 to 40, maybe an hour early, depending on what it is that you have to do that day. Now, the second thing that you guys need to do is be prepared. Right? Now, I'm not just talking about being early. That's part of preparation. But you need to know who your client is. You need to know who you're going to serve. You need to know who's going to be in there, if it's going to be different people. If you're a personal trainer, you own a gym, you need to know if there are going to be people in there with injuries, or someone's going to be showing up on their first night. Especially if you have the ability to know that in advance, it'd be important for you to prepare for that so you can have liability waivers ready. You can have a bottle of water for that person ready. You can take them on a little tour. Liz, who works here, she's great at taking people on tours around the facility and making them feel comfortable, especially if we have a heads up. Now, if you don't have a heads up, you should still be prepared. What happens if someone comes in tonight that we don't know? What happens if this situation occurs? You can always think of those things in advance, right? Before we shot this video, I said, I got a polo if I need to throw the polo on because it's easier to get the mic on. I was prepared because me and Britt knew we might shoot a video tonight, right? Blake, on the other hand, didn't have his polo with him.
Brought my white
He also wasn't thinking about it. But had you been thinking about it,
oh yeah, I would have.
He would have thrown the dry fit polo.
For sure.
And you wore a polo in here when we first
met. Or
yellow polo.
Nice
I was
yellow
like,
polo.
And it was tucked in. He was professional.
Yeah.
You were prepared, right? Were you prepared that day?
I was prepared, yeah.
He was prepared. People can feel that. They can sense it. It gives them a little certainty. It gives them peace. So if you're in business, any kind of business, whether it is a service or you're selling a product or you're just meeting somebody for a real estate deal, be prepared. Show up. Have your hair taken care of. Have 2 eyebrows, not one. Little stuff. Now, the third thing that I'm going to touch on, I'm going to give you in a minute. But first, I'm going to pull up, before we get to my third thing, I just looked up on entrepreneur.com 5 things that they use for customer service, and I agree with a lot of them. So these are kind of bonus tips. Use the right term, okay? Don't call people certain names or things that don't really mesh up with what you're doing. Don't call people clients or customers if your business wants to refer to them as guests. Now, at Elle's company, she would probably refer to them as guests, right? Yeah. A new guest, right? I would refer to people as clients. This is my training client. So each business has different things. So use the right terminology. If you're meeting, we met today with a couple of great entrepreneurs that we didn't know if they would be. A couple of great entrepreneurs from Inbounds training facility, and going over some different deals, and they seemed really prepared. And in that conversation, I think what happened is we knew that they knew what they were talking about because of the terminology that they were using. They seemed like they were on top of their game, and it gave us a sense of ease that we could ease into the conversation because they knew what they were doing. So use the right terminology. Second one they use, anticipate needs. Blake had a couple of athletes show up yesterday to the gym for the first day.
Yep.
Sophomores in high school. When they come in, you know you can't just jump into the fray with guys like Quan and Hawk. I mean, just when you're training with a guy with the name Hawk, you gotta have your stuff together, okay? But these guys were football players, but they were young, and they were coming from a high school where I don't think maybe they were teaching them too much because they didn't know what they were doing when they came in here. But we anticipated that, so I knew that I would have to make the adjustment in their training program to accommodate them, and I think you've had that quite a bit too.
Yeah.
When you got new guys coming in, they can't just jump into the system.
Right. So I think, kind of having that, kind of like a little bit of evaluation when those kids first come in. Oh, you're going to hit this, this, and this before we actually get going into the program.
So you can get the new guy into the system.
Right.
I like it.
So.
Big stuff here. So now the third thing they give you is give respect. I think that kind of goes without saying, but sometimes people have their own personal problems, and they're tired, and they're sad, and they're lonely, and they're depressed. And then their client comes in, and they're just sitting there like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, and they're just like, hi, how you doing? Nobody wants to be around a coach like that. Nobody wants to be around an entrepreneur like that. Nobody wants to be around a boyfriend or a girlfriend like that either, right? So we all have feelings, but sometimes you got to get out of them, turn it on, because you're there to serve people, and that's part of the game. Now, the fourth thing they give is treat everyone like a VIP, and I couldn't agree more. I think that's one of the things. If you come in here in Top Line, you always know that you're going to be treated really well. You're going to be treated like family. You're going to be talked to like you're a person. You have feelings. You have needs. Sometimes it's draining because a lot of you guys got a lot of feelings out there, and I'd be catching a lot of the feels from the people, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been in here with feelings once or twice.
Yeah. Maybe a couple times.
Yeah,
I try not to.
You're not going to carry that weight with you. If you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, you're going to carry a couple feelings with you. And this is number 5. I think this is important before we go into our last one. Show immediate action and solutions, not blame. Solutions. I was just talking about that the other day. Solutions are what you want in business, right? You want to find solutions because that's what you get paid for. You get paid for big problems. If you can solve big problems, you'll get paid a heck of a lot more. So make sure that if a client comes to you and they have a concern or something, no problem, let's fix it. Oh, you got an issue? Cool. Let's go take care of it. No problem. I used to have guys come in, UFC fighters. They're like, oh, I'm a UFC fighter. I'm getting ready for a UFC fight. Cool, let's roll. I never trained a UFC fighter in my life. And in 2 weeks, I think I had 40 or 50 pro MMA fighters in here, and I had to somehow get it together. Yeah. But I didn't want to cause alarm to them. I said, I got you guys covered, and then I had to go study hard to get ready for it, okay? So make sure that you can solve people's problems. Now, going back to our last one, be happy, okay? And that goes back to that last one about, the mood where I mentioned Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, where somebody's just kind of always down. There's a cloud hanging over them all the time. Nobody wants a trainer like that. Nobody wants a server at a restaurant like that. Nobody wants a valet like that. Anything you're doing, even if you're having a bad day, turn on the charm a little bit.
Bring that positive energy.
Bring a good vibe to whatever it is that you're doing, don't you think?
Yeah. Bring the juice, right?
That's part of the Top Line playbook. Bring the juice. So those are our top 3 customer service do's and don'ts. This is the first episode of the Top Line Business Show. We're going to come up with a better name for that. But you know what? In the first one, you just have to bang it out. And I think that's another entrepreneurial thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I need the camera. I need the person to film me. I need the facility. I need the LLC. You don't need any of that. Like Blake tonight, he's like, should I do this video? I'm like, dude, I just hit the button.
Just hit it. Just press the button.
I was like, here, I got you. Bang. Right? Yeah. So that's all you got to do sometimes is turn your game on and get to it. We'll come up with a better name for the show. But to be honest, if you just jot those 3 things down again, Britt, we can drop those on the PNG right here. Be early. Be prepared. Be happy. for crying out loud. And your business will go a lot further. You heard it here from us first at the Old Top Shop. You want to throw your name out there?
Yeah.
This dude's over here not saying anything, for crying out loud.
Coach Blake Bodenstein, Top Line Football. We're going to take this business to the top.
I like it. You guys, if you have any questions, let us know. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Text message us, call us, or come in here to the Top Shop if you want to have a good time, get in shape, and get a good sweat. We'll see you soon.